Oh, my bad, everybody. Hold on. We haven't started yet.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to season 2 of the Loves Gymnastics podcast, brought to you by the Loves Gymnastics Network, brought to you by the creator of this, Michaela Loves Gymnastics, and her co-host, Oscar, aka Gymnastics Saves Lives, Miss Shayna, and Ezra. And together, we bring you the Loves Gymnastics podcast. Season 2 begins now. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. We love and appreciate you. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, bring more people into the community. It's NCAA 2025 time. Let's go, girls!
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Welcome back to my channel, Michaela Loves Gymnastics. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Loves Gymnastics podcast. I was trying to do the shaking the phone shit, but it was not happening the way we thought it was going to happen. How you guys doing? We are in postseason of NCAA 2025. And we're slowly getting people to get on the screen. Here is Shayna. Shayna!
Michaela, hold on, I'm coming.
Period.
I had to bring my dog outside to let him do his little business.
It is all good. And eventually, I think Urza is going to get on. But today, you guys, we are going to catch up with the podcast. We are going to discuss the regional brackets. We are going to do our prediction of which teams we think are going to advance to the NCAA. It used to be the 16. I guess it's the top 8. We're going to talk about all of the things. We're going to talk about why OU chose to ignore the selection show and just have practice. We're going to talk about, this is going to be a very the University of Oklahoma heavy show, because we're also going to talk about what's going on with one of their superstars, Lily Peterson, and her mom, and how I think the gym internet is being totally and complete hypocrites when it comes to one gym mom. Oh, here comes Urza right here. Oh, here we go. Now, I'm so sorry, everybody. Tonight we will not be joined by Oscar. Oscar is up here betraying gymnastics by going to the figure skating world championships. Who the fuck goes to see figure skating and the figure skating world championship? I'm just joking. I'm very jealous. But he's not going to be in. He's living his best life in Boston. Daddy just came from California for 3 weeks. Now he's in Boston. It must be nice to be a young, rich, white twink. Anyhow, I was just joking, Oscar. I was just joking. But today we have NCAA to talk about. So we have to go from the past, the present, and to the future. I think that's just the best. Now, I understand there was a lot of elite gymnastics that also happened this weekend. I'm going to do a separate show maybe tomorrow, maybe whenever Oscar have time to go and recap all of the elite, because it's just so much gymnastics to talk about in one show. So we have to pick a focus. So we have our NCAA experts here tonight. So we're going to talk about NCAA gymnastics. And we have a cute baby on the camera. coming across the camera. Um, but before we get into the regionals and the regionals of it all, before we get into the OU and the OU scandals of it all, how have you both been doing? Like, it's been like, I think 2 weeks since we did a real show. So, in the last 2 weeks, what's been going on in the NCAA? Like, how do y'all feel? How do y'all feel that this season played out? Did you, I mean,
It played out kind of like how I expected it to as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I knew that um, I knew LSU and OU would pretty much be the top teams. I did not think that UCLA would be as strong as they ended up being. I knew they were going to be a top team, but I was very impressed with them. I was so happy for Michigan State. Um, Florida is Florida. Um, I mean, I don't know what to say about those girls. Is it a coaching thing? Is it a morale? I don't know.
I
That's your
have
team.
opinions on
That's
that.
that's your team, Michaela. But I just want to. This is my opinion with Florida because I know we don't want to rant on it, but I'm finna start it with Nisha. I feel like they were more focused on tens than actually winning the damn meet and crying and so happy for Riley and just like she just like was beautiful routine, but it's just like they don't have discipline. That's what they lack.
Yes,
They
yes,
lack discipline.
yes. And to
Oh,
jump.
and that starts with the coaching staff. They're more. I
Mhm.
know morale is very important. You gotta be cohesive, but it's just like, why are you crying so much, getting a 10? Come on now. They
I
had
mean,
several girls get 10s for the first time. Like I just be feeling like they too mushy, and they were so focused on her that great. They were too high on on the bars rotation, and they were not focused to try to bring it home because they really had a shot to.
yes.
and it was so disappointing because rewatching the competition, they had a really great bars lineup. Do I think maybe Leanne deserves her 10, but do I think Riley deserved a 10 for that routine? No. But I do agree that once Riley did get her 10, the team was more focused on Riley getting a 10 than the whole fucking beam rotation that was up to come. But again, I blame that on Jenny Rollins. I'm so sorry, Jenny. You had an option to either end on uneven bars or end on balance beam. You
Hmm.
had that choice. And you chose to pick the rotation where you started on floor and ended on balance beam to give your team some fucking damn a challenge or what the fuck ever. And
And what it was is, when you do have to pick the draw,
Hmm.
as the third team, last year they picked Beam to start on. And
Yes,
they did really well starting, but it was just like, the whole Morgan, the floor debacle they had, they never really wasn't in the meet last year. They got themselves in the meet this year. What they wasn't expecting is, yes, scoring was crazy, but Beam scoring was not. Beam scoring was actually very tough, and that was not the best rotation for them to end on being when you're trying to win the meet. But they
I
also
anybody like
like Anya gave it up. Leanne, I don't understand why when it gets to high pressure she loses her marbles on beam. Like
I
I
think
don't
it's a gauge thing because Kara Aker did the same thing. Like,
and
you
to
know
jump on.
Aaliyah
hey,
Finnegan
give me
had
one
her.
second. Give me 1 second. I got to get your LSU sister together in the chat. Nisha, we are
No, you
not up here.
cannot.
trying to defend Jenny Rowland so y'all your LSU can keep dominating for the next 10 years. Fuck that. Jenny Rowlands need to be fired tomorrow. No T
Yes.
Owen. Owen, you are a great coach. Maybe you should focus on elite gymnastics. I really feel like they need to bring Rhonda Fane ass back. Why Rhonda Fane get to be punished forever and Valerie Liukin gets to coach again? Like bring Rhonda Fane back.
And to jump on what everyone has been saying about Florida, it's a discipline. I just don't feel like they are coach in the environment to handle an away environment like they're in Alabama, obviously. So for
I'm
them to
sick of
handle,
Florida recruiting all these hurt ass elite
yes,
gymnasts, bitch. Like, stop recruiting the girls when they 15. So when they finally turn, you have to go to college. Now they're too hurt to do any damn thing. Like, stop recruiting all the fucking hurt elite gymnasts, damn Jenny Rollins. Like, I understand you have a great rapport with the elites, but like, did it work out with Charlize Jones for y'all? Charlize Jones didn't even go to Florida at all, and that was one of y'all big hopes.
it's
Sky,
just
too hurt to do almost anything. Wonderful gymnast would bring so much benefit to the damn University of Florida. Too hurt to do almost anything.
well, Sky's
Taylor
injury was a
DeCello,
last minute
she
thing,
gave
kind
y'all
of.
1 year. Every other year, been too hurt to do anything. Like y'all keep recruiting these broken ass elite gymnasts. Y'all need to recruit from the level 10 group. The group that's not in the elite race, the group that's not going to the Olympics, that's not so beat up, who already know how to do a Yurchenko 1.5. You don't have to water down her Yurchenko double to a Yurchenko 1.5. Mamas already know how to do a Yurchenko 1.5, or a pipe front half, or an Emilion chair vault. She already has a 10.0 vault.
Hmm.
I
Keep
just
going after these broken ass elite gymnasts is just so frustrating.
it is, and I always felt because I had my gripes like I talked to Nisha about this, but some of them LSU message boards I used to let them have it, especially when Jay Clark took over LSU. I never understood some of the coaching decisions. Florida has the talent. That's the thing. They on paper they have talent, but they never like it never comes to fruition. With the exception of years of the SEC, they really have underperformed the past Florida, and they have just leagues and teams, but like time. I knew when Oklahoma came that they was going to put a in somebody's plan on being Florida, but
And then for those who are questioning why I'm saying Florida had a decision, Oklahoma clearly had the first option to pick what you not yeah because they was
Hmm.
ranked number one going into this competition, right? LSU
Yes.
had the second option to pick what event they wanted to start on. Florida had the third option of what event they wanted to start on. Florida could have started on beam and ended on bars, which would have been a hell of a lot smarter. But
And you
Florida
know what
wanted to.
I think it is? I really think it's the fact that Florida, Jenny Rowland themselves didn't think they had a fighting chance to beat OU and LSU. So she decided let's pull back from the meet and focus on what to do to get ready for regionals and nationals. But I don't think that was a smart decision, obviously, because they were in the meet and
I
they're
think it was that. I'm so sorry. I think it was that Florida. Jenny thought Beam is typically Florida's best event. It's their highest scoring event all season. So in her mind, she wanted to end on their highest scoring event. It's balance beam, bitch. Why not start on your highest scoring event and keep it going throughout the whole meet like any smart coach would do? No coach, even if Beam was your best event, would end on Beam if it was your choice.
and because if they didn't have that like high scoring bars rotation, their floor was real mid. They were all right on vault. So if they had swapped places and started on beam when I guess they were more confident and all the pressure wasn't on, oh my God, It's not a regular dual meet. This is a SEC championship meet, and we're ending on beam. And we chose this shit. Coaching again. I wouldn't put my girls through that. But it was just like, it's not to pick on these women because they are awesome athletes, and I'm pretty
And
sure
it's
they're
not. And again, I hope y'all understand. I'm not. It's not the girls. It's not the University of Florida that I'm blaming for this. I'm 100% blaming the coaching staff for their decisions. To it just doesn't make any sense. It
and
don't make.
I went back, I've watched it a couple times, and it was just like, yes, y'all had an awesome bar rotation, but it's just like when you go back, everybody's so mushy, and you got this one crying and this one hugging. Y'all should be in a goddamn huddle talking about let's win this shit, and let's go over here to beam and finish it off. But it was like it was so focused on like comforting Riley when I just felt like she looked like she grabs a lot. She always is highly emotional, and I feel like in some instances it's more of a distraction than help. That's just what I get from it. I could be totally wrong, but just reading things and looking at things. When Jay Clark do this, he mean business, and he about to say, "Come on, y'all get y'all shit
And,
together, finish this off."
and I
Everybody
would
was
even take it one step further. Even though Georgia did not have their best meet at this regional, what Cecile Landy has done for the University of Georgia in one
Yes.
season is they look like a
Yes.
completely different team with basically the same girls that they've been had. They just look like a completely different program. Like, and they're having fun, but she's also taking the actual competition serious, which is something that I don't know if the University of Florida even knows how to
I feel like
do.
she set the expectations for her team every meet, and when they pass those expectations, they get confident and more confident and more confident. And by the time as conference came, they just wanted to go out and compete, and they did good. Obviously, they didn't place as high as they wanted to, but I definitely think it was a higher, better placement and a better set of routines from last season where they looked discombobulated and they looked just there to show routines. So I definitely think they were a better team physically and mentally this season, and they came to compete. And yeah,
you know. Other than that, Missouri, they looked good. I mean, I wasn't expecting them to really like compete for the top spot, but I could have definitely seen them knocking off one of the other teams. Oklahoma
Missouri
looked.
did look good. Missouri just is in the same issue as like a MSU, where like they just have one weakness, which is uneven bars. And if Missouri can get that together, yeah,
Mhm.
they're a top team because they're
Mhm.
one
Well,
of the better
actually,
vaulting.
Vars was pretty good for them this meet. It was the vault. It was the vaulting. They couldn't land, and they started on beam, which they were a little shaky. And you got LSU first three girls going 985 with basically look like no wobbles. That means the judges are being real tough. But I was very impressed with Missouri. And who else was I impressed with this week? Because we got a lot to talk about. I was impressed with Stanford. I was
Oh,
impressed.
absolutely.
I
And
was Stanford. I was impressed with, and I love Tabitha Yim. I liked her as a gymnast, so I knew eventually she would get that program turned around eventually. And based off of what they did last year, I knew that they were going to be a little bit better this year.
I
I
feel
was impressed with UNC. UNC looked really good. Um, Michigan
but the
State
team that I was
great.
most impressed with this whole weekend, no tea, no shade, Ezra, I'm for to give you is LS. I mean UCLA. UCLA looked like Okay, now am I going Urza don't was some of them scores a little high? Yes. But overall, the
Yes.
UCLA looked great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they up for the challenge. Like I think UCLA and LSU are going to be the two teams that are fighting it out for the championship this year. I don't see it for OU this year.
Same. I haven't seen it for OU since probably week 3. They have a great coaching staff. I don't want to, put my foot in my mouth, but they look tired. They have they don't have a real fifth or sixth beamer on that
Mm-hmm.
team. Whatchamacallit is not. She folds under pressure. Ava
Ava
Seafeld.
Sangfeld,
She
yes.
she she
She's going
folds
back in
under
the
pressure.
dungeon.
And the
And
other one that
Addison, as much as I love my Addison Fettuccine Queen, she needs a little bit more time. Like the position that they put her in as a freshman, she's not in the same level as Caitlin Chio or what's the young lady from Utah?
Avery Neff.
Avery
She's not
Neff.
on that level. Like Addison was and Addison, you know I love you. I'm not trying to read your gymnastics, please. I'm talking about Addison was a middle of the pack elite level gymnast. Um,
Uh-huh.
and if Addison would have did like Aaliyah did, which was like our last couple of years of elite, taking it down, throwing more college level skills, but that's not what Addison was doing. Addison was still trying to make the world trials,
Olympics.
Olympics, trying to learn chungs, trying to learn double doubles on floors and stuff. So it took it. I just think it's going to take Addison another year to just pick the right skills for her NCAA gymnastics. Like I don't personally think this year Chinko 1.5 is the best vault for Addison when Addison can do a Lopez, Addison can do the Polka Pie Ava, Addison can do an Emilion check. Like she has so many other skills that she can do. I just think OU just need to pick the right skills for Addison.
I think OU does not have any gymnast that steps up. They have, in my opinion, a lack of competitive roster. Well, not competitive roster. They have a good roster, but I feel like there's not one gymnast that's like a Jordan Charles, like a Selena. Well, like I said, I just don't think Jordan Bowers has and Aubrey Davis have stepped up for this team, in
I
my
would say this
opinion.
too with Audrey Davis. Like y'all love that we cast bar routine so much. I'm so sorry, Audrey. Your bar routine is great, but compared to what a lot of other girls is doing, that bar routine don't even compare. Like
And somebody was speaking on why she hasn't. It's a reason why the girl has 60 routines over 9-9, but only what 110 and multiple 9-9-7-5s. They can talk about judging all they want, but you have basically a perfect routine, and then you have that bum ass, terrible ass dismount. And I don't care how much better it looked compared to all the other times.
I
They're
don't know
not
why
going to
OU
give that.
just don't
They're
take
not
out
going
the
to
half
give
turn and just let her do a double front. Like
she
she's
wasn't
just not.
sticking it. So I see why they changed it, but it's an automatic deduction because for one, it's ugly with those legs far apart. Two, she's
She
always
doesn't
made with
get
her
that
legs
half turn
on
around. She does
shoulders.
like a quarter turn and like turns on the ground. Like, and we've all seen it so many times. Like,
It's a technique issue. Hands down, best routine minus the dismount. And they're
I
gonna
mean,
get it all the time. They're going to get it when people be like the OU fandom be, if they got all of this, Leanne's was a 10 to me. Leanne's, if I didn't see a
and
10 that night, Leanne's
And
bar
can I
routine.
even say something else about Audrey Davis? Not trying to read the girl or her bar routine, but she does no combinations in the whole routine. Everything is a single skill after single skill. Like there's she when she does her pipe Jaeger, it's not connected to anything. She goes into cast handstand into her pipe. Like she
Hmm.
does no combinations. Is no.
Because she was training the Jaeger straight to a pack, wasn't she? In
She
preseason.
and I'm still waiting for it because that's the routine that would get her a 10. But the routine she's doing now, it's the same to me as a Maloney pack routine. Like it's just
And when you
It's
really,
the
and
same
when
from
I
her
really
freshman
look at her
season.
gymnastics, she don't do a lot of back tumbling or back gymnastics, other than like the 1.5 vaults. She it's just like
And one thing that
she has enough in her to them to have made a decision, especially being in her 5th year, if they wanted to, make it a big deal about her not getting tens.
I must say, it was a commentator that said college gymnastics is about learning new skills and developing over the 4 seasons you are in college. And I feel that Aubrey's bar routine has not improved. Like there's nothing
Mm-hmm.
different about her bar routine from 2021 to now. It's only the dismount, and I don't see no change in her beam routine. She has the same floor routine. The only new thing I would say she has learned coming to OU is her vault, and they haven't fixed her issues with the vault. So,
Yeah.
what has she been doing in the
When Haley
season? Yeah.
Stop. When Haley Bryan came in, she was doing that double front, and they hurried up and changed to the double front half. Jay Clark was like, you going to stay stuck at 9.85 with all these steps. So I could see them wanting to change it for Audrey, but she's never going to get a 10 because of the built-in deduction. And
I
it's so
mean at this point, with Audrey, I would just go starter to double tuck. Like
but it's so
They're going to
obvious.
quickly give that a 10. Quickly going to give it a 10.
Yeah. So
I feel
what
like
do y'all think
they're
about
waiting to give the girl a 10. It's.
what do y'all
I
think about
mean,
NCAA and winning? Can they? Because I had said in the chat, y'all, I was like, I feel like if LSU doesn't win, it's going to be somebody other than Florida or OU. So what do y'all feel about?
I feel like
go
what
ahead, baby.
UCLA did, other than different teams, I feel like they didn't deserve to win. They earned this win. Like they fought back. They did not have a good vote rotation, but they didn't like do a Florida and just stay where they were the entire meet. No shade, Michaela. They
Somebody
said we're
cut the
going to
trade, but it's all good.
event fast. So let's fight back. And they ended on Florida, and they know they're a good for, so they just built and picked up momentum and just kept it going.
I was so proud of them. I'm not gonna lie. I was pulling for MSU because I just love some of those girls on that team. But I was so happy and proud of UCLA.
Agree. And MSU had a better score than Oklahoma did at this meet. But that aside, MSU biggest struggle for me is uneven bars. Like I really don't like them on bars. It's just very shaky. Their whole bar rotation to me. But they did a good job at their conference championships to figure MSU do be folding like a chair. But I would love to see just a dual meet between MSU and Missouri, like letting them girls go lights out against each other. That would be so. Maybe add Kentucky to that meet too, because Kentucky up there too for me. But I also want to say Utah looked really good in their little conference of no challenge, but
Did they look
I
good
think
or
with
did the scores look good?
a little bit of both. But I would say with Utah, I don't think Utah is Oklahoma. I think them being in this conference without competition is going to hurt their program dramatically. I think Utah is going to fade away.
So, did y'all see the Jordan Weaver post about her requesting to, I believe, boost the team's NQ to score and compete against Oregon State, who is conferenceless. Basically had a bye week, but was denied. And I just want to
Yes.
see how you felt about that.
Yes. I feel like, I mean, that's what Utah is in the conference of no challenge. I mean, their biggest challenge over there is Denver, probably. And that's no challenge.
You're talking about Arkansas and Jordan Weaver putting the protest in because they denied her to be able to go and
Yes.
compete
I
at
have
the
I've
compete at.
changed my feelings about that since the last time I talked about it. Even though I feel like it's not fair that Arkansas didn't have one last meet to improve their NQS like everybody else did, at the end of the day, it really wouldn't have hurt or helped Arkansas in any way, shape, or form. I just feel like the SEC now, this is what they're gonna do. They just need to have
Mm-hmm.
a another meet scheduled for the end of the season for whoever that ninth place team is, so they can, because it is gonna eventually catch up to them where somebody is gonna need that last score to either make it to regionals or not. So
Mm-hmm.
That's a I mean, it's unfortunate, but rules are rules, and
Yes.
I understood why it was denied. But yeah, like my whole thing with that is it has to be a role in place for whoever is the ninth place team to compete somewhere. But like next year, Oregon State will not be by themselves; they'll be in a conference. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
no one else won't. Who else available to have a side?
they can always do a fist. They can always do a Wilberforce. They can always do
Or
a
they could
Temple.
just add a new conference. I mean, add a new team to the SEC because there are like 6 other SEC schools that don't have a gym team,
Yeah.
and they're like
Oh,
top schools in sports. So it makes no sense to
And
get
is
rid
that's
of
that
true
them.
too. Like you're saying, they really could add another gymnastics program to the SEC because um, isn't the University of Miami in the SEC?
ACC.
no? They different conference.
They're
And
It's
and,
they would
the
and
end with
to
Stanford and
not
Cal.
like be a Debbie Downer when it comes to, and this is just me, and everybody gonna have their own opinion. I like having the night not compete. You know why? Because this is just me, but ever since we've had it where the two sessions for the SEC have happened when they took away the Super Six and we started getting more teams, that
Mhm.
first session is not really enjoyable to watch. It's boring to me always. I never go back and watch the first session. They're never close. Someone always usually runs away with the session and they usually do horrible in it. And that's exactly what happened this year. Like, why do we need a 15 to, fight for fifth and sixth place? Like, that's just my take on it.
Yeah,
Like,
my
it
only
wouldn't
thing is,
change.
I would agree with you if every conference was like that, Shane. If every conference said to get to conference championships, you have to be
Mm-hmm.
top six in the conference, then I would feel that. But what I don't like about the SEC, in which I mean, I kind of knew it from the beginning, but it just dawned on me, like actually watching it, is every other team in every other gets another score to add to their NQS. I just don't think it's fair that one SEC team don't get a final score to add to their NQS. And that's my only feeling about it. I don't feel like they should go to conference championships. I just feel like it should be a separate meet that allows them to get a final score.
But see, then you have so many different things that can happen with that because that would be really based on NCAA because you're a SEC team, but you can't compete against other SEC teams because they're all in a championship meet. So that means that how would you know? Why would the SEC conference put make an exception for somebody to go compete somewhere else because you're not competing with the SEC when you don't make it to the championship. I just feel like if you're gonna have that rule, stick to it and don't change it. Because you look at basketball, you look at baseball, you look at football. All those teams in those different sports, they don't go compete at the championship meet. If they don't qualify, they don't qualify, Michaela.
But also, all those other schools at this point.
And then I feel
March
like it's something
Madness.
to work for in the regular season when you're competing to based off a score. I understand scores dictate a lot, but it's 13 weeks in the regular season. And Arkansas is not getting holes every week based on score. I mean, for the most part, Alabama was at the bottom, and they got their shit together. And then they did really well in the conference championship. So, I just feel like if they're going to have it like that, let it be like that and don't change it. Or add them to the fifth, make it a 5-person meet. Or, the last two, make it a dual meet like how the ACC did and had the
Now, I
3
think that would be dope if the last two teams had a playoff, and then
Mm-hmm.
that whoever wins that meet goes. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, have them do a playoff like that Thursday, and then whoever make it compete that Saturday. I didn't like the idea of letting the top ranked team have a bye. I didn't like that because then you make the championship 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I don't like that either.
stop. And then yes, Nisha, Arkansas be well rested. They were already locked
Yes.
in at they were already locked in at 16. So it just so happened that they couldn't get passed by anybody. But I don't think they really could have did anything to move up either. So it's not
But
like I mean they missed out on the experience, but y'all might needed to get some rest. Get your head straight. Y'all was just at nationals last year, and now y'all at the bottom of the pack.
I understand her
I mean,
wanting
they're
her
at
team
the
to get.
bottom of the pack for the SEC, but like in terms of everybody, they're right in it still.
Hell yeah, they're a seeded team going into the postseason.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Okay, so before we get into the brackets and conference championships of it all, because I feel like we're almost there, but I don't want to get there yet. I want to talk about Lily Peters. Okay, hold on. Let me come back. You all talk about something. Talk about LSU for a second. I'll be right back.
Well, I'm all in on
How do you,
LSU trying to repeat their national championship. They look
mm,
no joke.
Oh, Shane, I heard LSU had a very special guest that Nisha is upset about. Let's talk about that for a second.
Get over it. Get over it. I'm not the biggest fan either, Sneak, but I am happy that they were able to take a picture with the gold. I'm glad she came back. She's the best facility in the world. I'm glad she came checked on her good sis Zoe. Yeah, she needs to go take her little butt back wherever she came from.
Because Zoe's going through it. She injured. She has a bad sick. She's very sick from what she posted. And so maybe Zoe needs some encouragement from Simone. And we love that for her.
Yeah,
But
and
how do you.
she's not only with Zoe, she's also friends with Amari too. So it's
Yes.
not just that, you know. Let her come see the girls.
So, so how do you feel LSU can improve? Or do you think there's anything they can improve from conference to possibly
They,
winning national title? Oh, Sheena is gone.
Hold on, I'll be right back. I add her back. I heard her pop back in. Hold on, everybody. I'm trying to trying to do some shit. Give me a second, everybody. Hold on, I heard her. I heard you, Shayna. I'm coming. There we go. Okay. There we go, kid.
And
Talk. I'll be right back.
I think they can definitely get some of those vault landings back. It
mhm,
just so happens they get vault at the meet, and they scored the highest on vault. They can get those landings on vault together, and I think they're gonna have to get their first two
mhm,
um floor floor routine. I don't know, combination of adding from what it say. They say Connor is ready, and I know he
mhm.
doesn't like to add people at the end, but they added Savannah to Beam the last regular.
And she did great. She
Oh,
did good. I
so
enjoyed Savannah on being.
add Connor, because I feel like this is just me. He wants to keep Sierra in that lineup, but I feel like she played. They're going to hit her hard when they see that Pike double layout come
Yes.
nationals. And I think Kylie is a little cleaner, and then they need to add Connor. I would really like if they. I don't know with KJ. I just don't think her foot is going to be allow her to get. And it, from what it looks like, Kalia is out. I think that's where they can get
Yeah.
better at those vault landings. And I really just feel like they need Connor, like they need Connor. So I don't need to see 9.5s and 9.9s on beam. I need to see 9.9, 7.5s and 6. So it's always room to improve. I also feel like for UCLA they can improve to me a little
Yes. Absolutely.
hard vault. I think vaulting can improve a little bit. I think their bars can. I do think they were a little overscored on bars. Their beam was phenomenal. Their floor was phenomenal. So you can really go down the line and talk about all the teams that potentially can um, open up. I do feel like LSU is the strongest team, and if y'all go back to all the old shows,
You
OU
did
is.
say LSU.
I always said they were stronger than Florida and Oklahoma. Just when I look at gymnastics, I look what they put out. It doesn't matter how they perform because you know the season long, or as you already know this. One week they do
Yes.
well, next week they
The
don't
other
do
week.
well. You look at what they do, what they put out on the floor, and I always felt that they were stronger than OU. OU was just more consistent. And I said, once they got Haley Bryant back and they found they just, this happens every year with LSU. They lose a couple road meets, and then
Mhm.
once it get into overdrive time, they be ready. That's just a mindset. And I think that's what Florida is lacking. I think
Yes.
Janelle, PLA in a good spot. I love their freshmen. I love Macy. I love Mika Webster.
Mika.
They have great skills. But UCLA is kind of iffy when it comes to beam. I hope they have got over their beam woes, and I think they a little bit better. Some of those vaults. I think Brooklyn needs to set a little more on her. I think the 1.5s need to hone in on those lands, and I think that UCLA can get about a 49-4-5 to 5 on the ball. I really could see them, possibly win based off what they put out.
And I feel like something that you said in contrast to LSU and UCLA, UCLA added Caitlin Rosenbach, who was like missing for like a good chunk of the season, and they added her back in at the last minute where she competed amazingly. She hit 2 for 2 and got twice scores, unlike LSU, who you said Jay doesn't like to like pit athletes in that situation, but that may be something that he needs to do to secure a national title, which I believe wouldn't be too
Oh, I
hard.
like what y'all doing. Can we do Florida next? What do y'all think Florida has to do to be able to win the national? I like this. What y'all doing? Y'all are working. Good calls. Good calls. Y'all are doing this. This is a good
Yeah, because
one.
we get into the conference championship when we're getting to where it's starting to be elimination season. So you start to
Hmm.
look at strengths and
Mhm.
weaknesses of teams like MSU. They have to get stronger on. To me, they have to get stronger on bars. If
Have
they have
to.
any shot, and I
They have
really
to
think
focus
they have
on getting
good
to
shot.
vertical on them handstands. They have to be crisper on their giant swings. All
Yeah.
these bent elbows and broken wrists. They
They
need to
also, and I feel like they also need to get a little stronger on those couple attacks on floor as well. They need to get because they could have really put that. Even with UCLA doing great on uh being, I think the MSU gave away a little bit on floor and vault. It's just like they gotta come with they did good. When it's time to win. You have to come for it, and UCLA came for it. They were fighting,
Yeah.
and they earned it. Michigan State doesn't have that dog mentality yet. And I think that's what's going to stop them, plus the technique on the bars. Florida, Florida is strictly tech.
I'm so sorry, Nisha. I just saw a comment that I just want to respond to real quick. I'm so sorry, everybody. I'm so sick of with an NCAA. Everybody be like, is more prone to injuries. Injuries are going to happen. They don't water down the rules so much, and we've have seen so many more injuries during the season this year than I think that we've ever seen. Injuries are just going to happen. It's a part of gymnastics. I don't think we should make moves based on people are going to be injured or whatever. They should do a play-in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry. That's I just saw that comment. It just hit me.
Um, Cause I'm not gonna lie, Florida has always been. I've never been like, when LSU did not make. I'm not gonna lie. I'm telling y'all my thought process when LSU did not make nationals, or when LSU is not in the conversation to win a national title, and Florida is there against then Oklahoma. I always pull
Hmm.
for Florida, especially with Trinity on the team. I was pulling for them because I was like, okay, they SEC, and Florida is just so bland. I mean, OU was so bland to me. I love Trinity. I love Megan Skaggs. I love the list and so I wanted them to win those years. But it's like when over and over again, it's like they get to this point, and it's just when I look at them, they have the talent. They got freaking Selena and Leanne running that team, even with the injuries. But it's just like, you got Anya Pilgrim. She's a rock star. And then it's like when that moment when you need her to like come through and push through, she the one started off the debacle on Beam. And it's just like they couldn't get it together. And then you got this Alyssa Arano who just came out of nowhere, who's not proven to
All right.
be reliable, um, anchoring your beam lineup. So it's just like what beat through the process of them. I know you can't count on Riley because I just feel like she is so, and I don't want to pick her because she has beautiful gymnastics, but she is so like not she's so all over the place. She's emotional as hell, and it's just not a cute look for me, y'all. I'm sorry. And I feel like they have a culture of just open and accepting. But I remember Suzanne Yockland was saying this, and people used to talk about that woman, but that woman knew what the hell she was doing. That's why she got all them damn wins. And I'm not saying win at all costs, but she said about that 2005 team that they was not supposed to win that meet, but she said they were the nicest team she ever coached. They were a little too nice. When it's time to go out there and compete, you got to go out there and compete. And I feel like that is what's going to hold them back. I don't know what's the disconnect with Jenny because she's always so nice and, oh, they're going to do this and they're going to do. I hate her voice. I'm sorry. And I like Jenny Rowland, but the voice gets on my nerves. And it'd be like, okay, y'all got all these tens, and everybody be mushy, it just be so superficial. Just watch y'all. I got to watch the meet and just look at like the the shit that they don't talk about, but you see. Like when Selena jumped off, got her 10, jumps off the podium. It's like they kind of halfway hug and then she just keep moving. Like y'all have to watch it. Like they don't really like. I don't know. It's just something that's weird with them. I'm sorry. something is weird with the whole thing. Then you got the assistant coach, uh, that do choreography. He in the huddle with them, and he looking like a spectator. But shouldn't you be like assistant coaching and something? Like I don't understand. It just be kind of weird to me, y'all.
He just isn't a coach, and it's okay. They need a coach, and they also need. I just feel like Selena went to Florida in a conversation, but then she realized Florida is just like UCLA, but a little worse this season. Now UCLA, they're fighting, they're going for it, and now Florida is doing what they always do, which is be there, but don't be there. Like they're there, but they don't want to do more with them being there. And you saw that Trinity, those entire championships in 2022 and 2023, was trying her hardest. She was literally getting tans, and they still couldn't catch up to OU, and it was not her fault. But yeah, it just.
And shout out to Trinity because she was calling out that terrible ass judging on that bar rotation for OU with Anastasia Webb sitting right on side of her. I lived when she called that shit out. How the hell did either one of those routines score what they scored? I do feel like Florida still was the second best team that day. I'm sticking to it. And OU was gifted on that bar routine. And I feel like some of those floor routines for OU are a little high. OU just looked tired. OU just looked tired, and I don't know and then just me, KJ looked like she could not be bothered. I really don't think she liked being in the SEC because her ass got to work now. Y'all was so used to just going through the Big 12 and going, to the Metroplex every year, whooping up on teams with 198s, and thought, it was just going to be what it was. And then you get to the finals and then you win because you are clean. But shit, you got to go through Florida and Missouri and LSU and whenever Georgia is hot and Kentucky is hot, they're going to have seasons like that when those teams are going to beat a Florida LSU. And Oklahoma finna get right to it too. Then they lose Audrey and Jordan next year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
And
see
they really have
Oklahoma
no
being that.
leader.
I don't care how great their freshmen are going to be next year or the year after. They're losing their leadership. They're losing the strength of their team. And they look tired and overwhelmed now. And I don't know if injuries have to do with it because that will decimate a team. But they look overtrained, thinking too hard, too much pressure on them because they know LSU and Florida are probably either gonna be right there with them or over them. My dark horse to make it to nationals is Stanford. I think they're gonna be good. Stanford need a little bit stronger vaulters. They don't have strong vaulters.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that they'll need a little help if they're gonna get through. I
And
don't know
I
where's
feel like
Michaela.
I'm right here.
I don't have the regionals
I feel like
bracket.
Well, before we get into
I have
regionals,
I have
if
it
y'all
pulled up
can
right
look
now,
at
but
the screen. Go ahead, Ursula.
I kind of just say that I feel like y'all specific. I feel like people have not been given time for their flowers. They're talking about Cal had a bad meet. No, they did not. Stanford was the better team that day, and Cal had one bad routine, and now y'all are saying Cal had a meltdown, and Stanford has always been good. They just
Mm-hmm.
were better team that day. They had no slip ups.
I
Cal had one
I
minor slip up.
100% agree. Stanford and Cal always switch places. Right now, Cal is the better team on paper, but Stanford has always been right there with Cal. It's just people know.
I feel like I totally agree with Urza said. But you got to show up, y'all. This is sports. You got to show up when it counts. and all that, trusting your training and all the hard work you put in, it has to translate when it counts. So you can be number one on paper all
Hmm.
year. Saw this last year. I mean, me and Michaela, we got some years in watching gymnastics. And I'm not saying we're like professionals, but when you're a fan and you follow the sport, you understand things. Urza, you too, for the little bit of time you've been loving
Yes.
this. You got to show up when it counts. I don't care if you got 10 balls. If you can't land them or have shit form, I don't care what they do in practice. And that used to be how I harped about LSU. You got to show it when it counts. So when people say, Stanford gave it away, they were the best team. No, they weren't. Because if they, I mean, Cal, because if they were, they would have won.
Yes.
True, true, true. Speaking of, if they would have won. This ain't got nothing to do with that, but I want to talk about this real quick before we move into regionals. So, what's going on again at Oklahoma's story is that one of their gymnasts, her name is Lily Peterson. Her mom was just convicted of stealing from the other parents at, I guess, the University of Oklahoma. I got to dig more into the story.
No, it
But
was their personal gym that they kind of own.
so, I just want to know, where's the backlash? Where's the outrage? Where's the she needs to be in jail? Where's all of this that y'all was giving to my friend Gina Childs? Why? Where's the energy?
Michaela, what do you
Mhm.
think it is? Because I don't want to be the one to say it, but I don't care. I say it.
I will say it, maybe because
She don't have them.
may-
She has a different color.
maybe she has a different color.
Or maybe because she's from
Maybe
the whitest part of America, the whitest, the deep in the whitest part of America.
maybe it's because Lily isn't one of the top gymnasts at Oklahoma. I mean, she is, but not as known as Jordan is, so maybe it don't hit the same. I don't know. But a lot of people are like, it's not the same. It's not the same. Gina stole way more money than this girl stole. It's not the same. It's still gymnastics parents stealing. It is the exact same. Regardless of the amount of money that was stolen, it's the exact same situation. And for one, y'all are and even bigger than that, Gina paid that lady back and then went to jail and served her time, but y'all still are holding her accountable. Where this lady is up here fighting for this case and acting like she didn't do shit. What's the difference, gymnastics community? I still am waiting to hear the difference.
And the difference is that the woman Gina stole from was a complete stranger. Well, not standing up for Gina, what she did was wrong, but that woman was a complete stranger. But the woman Lily Patterson mother stole from was people thought her Lily's gym teammates, parents. So her mother most likely knows these people personally and is stealing from these people and probably smiles up in their face the entire time, knowing that she's stealing their money when it's their gym. That she's so it's shameful.
Nisha, Gina did serve her time just because you don't feel like she served enough time. Gina went to jail. She served her time. Read Lily Peterson's mama the same way y'all reading Gina Child. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Hmm.
And with that being said, let's move on to the fun part of the show, which is brackets. Let me find a bracket so we can do them.
I will that I have pulled up in the group if I can
Okay. And for
to make
those
it
who don't know
easier.
what brackets are, for whatever reason, you may not be familiar with this format in the NCAA. It's cool. Let me help you out. What the brackets are, well, what the conference, okay, how can I explain it? The conference championships were the last meet of the regular season. So from this point on, we are no longer in the regular season of the NCAA. We're technically in the playoffs, actually, at this point in time. And
we're in the
what
March Madness of it all. The March Madness.
very so much. So there are 32 teams who have advanced into the conference regionals. I'm so sorry. And I hate that they call it the regionals. They should call it the playoffs because it will make a lot more sense to everybody if they just called it the playoffs. But um, so because they don't call it the playoffs and we call it regionals, it may be a little bit confusing to people. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to find a bracket my damn self. Oh gosh. Who the hell do I know who have them? Um, I'm pretty sure USA Gymnastics has it up. Urza? Wait, did we lose Urza? No, Urza's
I am so sorry. I am used.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. I was confused.
Just say
I
you
was
could Google it,
confused.
NCAA Gymnastics Regional Bracket, and it should show up. I'm trying to send it, but it's not letting me send it specifically to the Twitter group.
No problem. Let me Google it. Uh,
Oh, I sent a link in the group, so if you would go check that now,
let me
you
see.
should.
Link in the group.
Like,
I see the link in the group. Are you pulling up, girl? Are you pulling up, girl? Okay, let me share. Let me share this screen. Let me close this out. Let me go here. Let me go here. Let me go to share screen. Let me go to share my screen. Let me go right here. Let me go here. And I just gotta wait for it to pop up. But it should be coming. It should be coming shortly. Bam. Okay. Can y'all see it? It looks, yeah, y'all can see it, right? Okay. So we have 4 different regionals going on. And out of those 4 different regionals, 2 teams are going to advance to the actual NCAA championship. So in total, 8 teams are advancing to the NCAA championship. And in session 1, in day 1, you have 2 different sessions, and then 2 teams from session 1 and 2 teams from session 2 advance to the final NCAA championship, which is going to be on Saturday, April 17th or something like that. So, in Regional 1, we have Michigan State, Kentucky, Ohio State. Hold on, let me try to make it bigger. Penn
and Penn
State,
State.
LSU. That's too big.
It looks fine to me.
Okay. Arkansas and Michigan, and the 2 playoff teams, and the playoffs is The two bottom ranked teams have to play against each other who's going to get this final spot in this regionals, right? So 7 teams have been named to the regionals. They named 9 teams. The last 2 teams have to play against each other for that last spot. Does that make
Yes,
sense to the people? It makes sense to me.
absolutely.
So in this regional right here, we have LSU is the number 1 team, Arkansas and Michigan. We have Penn State, Ohio State, Kentucky, and Michigan State. And then we have Maryland and West Virginia. Now, out of Maryland and West Virginia, who do y'all think is going to advance to the actual regional?
I think Maryland.
Yes,
I would go
I
Maryland too.
I love Maryland's gymnastics, specifically on the uneven bars. They give me everything on the bars, but yeah, I enjoy Maryland more.
So out of this regional, we have Michigan, Kentucky, Ohio State, and Penn State.
Is that
Obviously, the first 2 teams that should advance is Michigan and Kentucky, unless something strange happens.
yeah? I don't think
Oh
Ohio.
no, oh no! Don't count Ohio State out.
I'm not counting them out, but Kentucky, I think Kentucky should handle them girls. Should we all get shocked and surprised during playoffs?
I don't know what's up with Kentucky this year because they've been good the last 2 to 3, and at least close to being the top team. They went to nationals in 23, and then um they didn't make it last year, and they 22, but they always kind of close. But it's just like this year, like they wasn't even close to winning against Alabama the other night. So, but I don't think Ohio State is strong this year. They've had a lot of injury. Uh, they haven't really even been close to any top teams when they did it at the dual meet. The same with Penn State. So I'm gonna go with Michigan State and Kentucky. I'm actually going, yeah, I'm sticking to it. Michigan State, Kentucky.
Hmm. And then in the bottom, well, the other half of that conference, we got LSU, Arkansas, Michigan, and we're assuming it's going to be Maryland. So out of those 4 teams, which 2 teams do you think is going to advance to the next round?
Uh, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Michigan looked good in their meet. For it to be a rebuilding year, I feel like Michigan has more to gain than Arkansas. I just feel like Arkansas has kind of been all over the place, coming from the year that they had last year to making nationals to basically having the same team minus Lauren Williams on vault and floor and Rotar on bars. So they missed routines and they have digressed. So I'm going for Michigan.
Oh, that's hard. I think it's going to be Arkansas and LSU. I still think Arkansas, depending on their landings, can still beat Michigan.
Mhm.
Ooh, but that's going to be hard.
It is because they both have been inconsistent. But Michigan has a younger team. Like Michigan only has like 2 seniors. Arkansas has is very senior, have 5 years, 6 years, and they still did not make their conference meet. And I'm not saying that to say they're terrible, but I'm just saying I expected so much more out of them. And they have Frankie Price, Callie Slaney, Cammy Weaver, uh, Maddie Walagora, they added Jocelyn. It's just like what happened? You know, Michigan
Urza,
knew Michigan was going to have a down year. They lost basically everybody from their national championship team except Carly Bauman. They have 7 or 8 freshmen. Mostly all of them are competing or sophomores. compete last year. And scored over 197 at the conference championship. I'm going with Michigan, and I'm
Urza,
he's muted.
Yes.
Uh,
which two teams are you think is going to advance, baby?
To the finals of the regionals.
No, of this part is LSU, Arkansas, Michigan, or Maryland.
It's going to be, well, LSU definitely, and it's going to be a battle. But when I look at it, I'm going to give it to Arkansas.
Okay.
Purely based on the
Now from
that I think.
now it's not done yet, y'all. From this regional, out of we're saying Michigan State, Kentucky, LSU. Me and Urza both are saying Arkansas, so we're gonna go Arkansas.
mm-hmm.
Who do we think is going to be the two teams that advance to NCAAs?
LSU.
Michigan doesn't.
Michigan State. This is Michigan State year. I think the gods are letting Gabby and Skylar go to nationals their last year. It's Michigan State. It has to be. I love LSU, but I'm like more excited for Michigan State to make it. They have to make it. I think this is the best draw for them to
I
make it.
I honestly I just want to see the drama. I want to see upsets. I want to see everything. Give
Yeah.
me Kentucky over Michigan
Upset
State.
upset everywhere except this one. I don't care about the rest of the regionals. This one can't be up. This has to be LSU, Michigan State. They're my favorite teams. Michigan State is one of them because I like UCLA as well. But they have to go through. They have to. This is the year. I've always loved Skylar. I've always loved Nikki. I always loved Gabby. It has to be them. This is their year.
Okay, let's go to this next regional.
Who y'all picking?
Now,
LSU? No, Urza said LSU, Kentucky.
For the upset, actually give me Michigan State and Kentucky for the upset of it
Okay.
all. I want the
Michigan State.
in.
Well, anything can happen.
I think it's going to be LSU and Michigan State as well. Those are my two teams. Now, this to me is the hardest regional because I'm not sure. So this regional consists of, well, let's do the first two, the play-in teams. The two play-in teams are going to be BYU and Utah State.
BYU. Mm-hmm. BYU has some good gymnasts. They have a Brindley, somebody, I don't know if his last name is Anderson. They have a good beam squad over there, but they really don't have nothing else. They used to have, BYU used to be known for those viral floor routines, but they never really had a vaulting team or a bars team. But I think they're good enough to get over Utah State.
I have no idea, so whatever Urza said, that's going to be the group decision because I have no idea.
Okay, I know some good things about Utah State, and that's from one meet of watching them against Utah. I don't know a single thing about BYU, so I'm just gonna make not an informed decision, but based on what I know, which is not at all anything. I'm gonna go Utah State. But if Shayna says BYU could do it, then they could do it.
Look at their region, the NQS. Are they basically tied?
Yeah, they're tied. So I'm just gonna go with BYU just because I have no clue, but just
so
this is not an informed gymnastics opinion. This is just to move forward. So the top half of this regional is going to be UCLA, Minnesota, Southern Utah, and Boise State.
Mhm.
Out of those four teams, which two teams do you think is going to advance? Clearly, UCLA and Miss Minnesota.
Yeah, they're
Now,
clearly the
to
class
go
of the
back to what
field.
Shayna said, I would love upsets, but not for this regionals. You could Utah, just not this regionals. UCLA all
Well,
the way.
this is the regional to get some upsets because the next half we're going to go is
Mhm.
Utah, Stanford, Denver, and I'm just going to go with BYU because why not? And the two teams we think are going to advance from this half are
Utah and Stanford.
Yeah,
Urza. Do you agree with that?
absolutely.
Now, so
Not
that means the final four from this regionals would be UCLA, Minnesota, Utah, and Stanford.
this is
Which two teams?
my upset. One of my upsets. I think it's going to be UCLA in either Minnesota or UCLA and Stanford. I think Utah. If this is going to be the year Utah doesn't make it,
Yeah. I could feel an upset in my bones for any, and I just feel like it's gonna come out this regionals, and I feel
I
like
just yeah.
it's gonna be Utah. Well, I want it to be Utah because I don't want these. I feel like UCLA has their stuff together, so I think it's gonna be
Even
Utah.
even with them being at Utah for this regional, I just feel like Minnesota and Stanford are strong teams, and I think they're gonna bite the bullet. It's always an upset at this gander of the season, and I think it's gonna be Utah this year.
I agree.
I hear what y'all both are saying. I just don't agree with that whatsoever. I think Utah is going to be Utah, UCLA. Like,
They Utah and Stanford scored the same. Yeah, it's in Utah, but they scored the same. Utah and Stanford at their conference championship. Utah had no competition. They should have been scoring 198 at that meet, and they didn't.
we will see. I have no clue. But that's the hard one. That's
Because
going to be a hard.
Minnesota is good too, you know.
Oh, Minnesota is really
They
good.
good, and they really did good. They came in third at the behind UCLA and Michigan State.
Yes,
So
I
I
was
think
very
I think
impressed with Minnesota.
Stanford and Minnesota are stronger than Kentucky and whoever the other ones was with LSU in them. No way they get upset. Well, you got to think about it. Michigan got upset last year. Even though Utah doesn't have a track record of it, I just feel like anything can happen. And Michigan missed out at their home last year, and UCLA didn't make it after the first round either. So,
I I feel
you
that
know,
Utah is going to struggle so bad to the point where their home scoring can't even help them. That's the
it's
vision
not.
I have in my,
Because Stanford and Minnesota, they don't fall at all. It's gonna.
which is
I feel
shocking
like that's
me.
gonna be the upset. I really do. All right, this is the third one.
This is the third one. So in
With
this, let's start off with the playoff. The playoff is going to be between Clemson and Rutgers, and Clemson should kick Rutgers' ass.
no, not at all. I'm going for Rutgers.
Wow.
Nietzsche said the Mormons want to lie. Oh my goodness. Um, Clemson. I don't know. Clemson. They ranked 20 something or whatever, but it's just like they were in they. They really did not. They were at the bottom of their conference. They did the play. They did the dual meet for the ACC. They didn't even make it to the Final Four. They did it. They were against Pittsburgh, and they barely beat them. And given what Rutgers has done, this year, losing their coach and all that, I think they're going to be ready. And I think Clemson is going to have a meltdown.
Urza.
like they always do.
What you say,
I'm not
Urza?
impressed with from last season to this
Yeah,
season.
I'm the same way. I'm not impressed either.
I'm very impressed. And Devin is going to be Clemson, but so y'all say Rutgers is going to be Rutgers.
So we
Okay,
have
so
Cal.
Cal, Alabama, North Carolina, and Iowa.
This regional is so up for grabs. So it's not like it's an actual, like if you base it off paper, you would say Florida and Cal. But look how both of these teams performed at their conference championship. Will they be like, have something to prove and be like, I'm not finna play with you hoes? Or will they be in their head and be like, okay, maybe Oregon State comes out and
And that's
JQ
what I'm
is
saying.
997 and 995 in them, and then you got Alabama. If they actually can have a hit meet and score 197, 4 or 5, then you like, okay, what if Florida has a miss? I could see anybody from California, Alabama, Florida, Oregon State advancing out of
I
this.
agree, but I think it's going to be Florida and Cal.
You don't think Jade and them can push Cal to
Oregon State always have issues in postseason because they have nobody else other than Jay Carey. So
mhm. But they're weak. They have a weakness, and that's vaulting at Oregon State. But if you really look at it, they're one of the top teams on Beam in this thing. Beam is always a big difference maker. You see what it did at the conference championship. Beam basically won the meet for LSU because Oklahoma and Florida sucked. Beam basically won the meet for UCLA because they were so much better than everybody else on it. So Oregon State has a strength in me. I just, I look at different things. On paper, I'm going to go with Cal in Florida.
but this is in Alabama. It's Alabama's home regional. I wouldn't
Hmm.
be surprised if they upset the girls here.
Yeah. Who's going to be more upset though, Cal or Florida?
I pray it's not Florida, but I
This
wouldn't be
is
surprised if it's both.
it is April Anarchy, y'all. Well, basketball has
Yeah.
March Madness, and we have April Anarchy, and someone's going to get upset, and I think it's going to be.
Hmm.
I can
I
agree.
have like Cal, like last season. I was like, Cal is really good. They are a top team. I think they have digressed a little bit. They're still one of the top teams, but they're not in the conversation like they were last year to possibly be up in Oklahoma, you know, like people were saying last year. No one has really said Cal is going to win a national championship this year. They were in the conversation like that last year. I'm not all high horses on them. Also, this is Florida, and not too long ago, 2019, Florida didn't make it out of a regional as well. So it's not like these teams are not prone to going to nationals.
And who
Other
did they
than
lose to? Oregon State.
Oregon State.
I agree, but it's a hard one. I think this is another hard division, but not as hard. It's going to be hard for that second place team.
Nisha saying Alabama is going to upset Cal.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Mhm. I wouldn't either. I would not. I would not be shocked. And uh Ella Cesaro, whatever her name is, she's wishy washy. It's like she let one mistake catapult her because she uh messed up on one event bars and
And
failed. And
Angel Frazier is just not having the season like she's been having.
I really feel like MJ is hurt, y'all. That's just what I feel. Because that girl was money the first two seasons. And it looked like when she lands, it'd be something weird. Like her vaulting is getting worse to me. But then she had like some kind of weird, like she's not up on her feet. She basically fell out of her tumbling pads. Something she's never done. I feel like MJ is hurt. And if I'm not going crazy, but preseason they said that she might have been out for a time period because of an injury that they never really tried to discuss. They lost Perea and Lee because they were leaders. They might not have been 9-9s everywhere, but well, Perea was. But when you lose leaders and leadership, that that's a big thing. I think that is Florida's issue. Who's the leader of the team? Because it's not Leanne. She doesn't have the personality for it.
And it's supposed to be Leanne, I think.
But she's not. She's not the
and
leader of the
and
team.
it can't be Selena because she just came there.
Right. So who's the leader? Sloan?
Sloan's hurt.
Yeah, but Kaya was still a leader when she was out. Kaylee was there. Aaliyah was there. It's not just what they put on the floor. Sierra, she's very huge to LSU. You have to have leaders on the team. Vocal leaders, people that are going to, get the morale together. Sometimes it's not just the coach. These girls know each other in and out. Who's talking to them when they down, when they in a meet and it's going crazy and your nerves start, Michaela, your nerves start to get to you. Who's going to be the calm in nature to get you down on the team, to get you where you need to be to perform in the team? I don't feel like Leanne is like that. She's too nice. And I feel like that is what Cal is missing. Because I don't feel MJ is that. MJ was the talent. Maya Luzon was the talent. But Gabby Perea, Andy Lee, they were the leaders. And they lost them. And that's why they're not in the conversation of, possibly winning. And then you got a Chi and Ondani who are, for whatever reason, injuries, inconsistencies, they're not to their full potential. So, and then they lose Maya next year. So I feel like it's a dwindling down for them as well. So I could see them getting upset by an experienced Alabama team who kind of had to you know, work to get to their conference championship. They probably would have scored higher than Missouri had they been in the night session.
I agree. I
I also
agree.
feel the same about Tar.
Utah.
I think that's what he said.
Mm.
So let's move on to the final regional, which is going to be the playoff teams are going to be Illinois and the UC Davis. I think Illinois should advance.
Hmm. Illinois can, you know, from what it looked like, Illinois going to be a play-in team, and they could possibly beat Auburn and Nebraska to go to the final night too.
Mm,
I could see that with them.
we'll see. We'll see. So the top half is going to be Missouri, Georgia, Arizona, and Arizona State. The bottom half is going to be Oklahoma, Auburn, Nebraska, and we're saying Illinois. So from this conference, which two teams do we think are going to advance?
Oh, it's Missouri and Oklahoma.
I'm going to say, with as strong as they've been looking lately, now I know they didn't have their strongest competition at conference, but I'm kind of starting to believe in damn Georgia.
To beat Missouri.
I, yeah,
Missouri, Missouri would have to counterfall, I feel.
I think Georgia have more than
I
good.
cannot go against Helen Who and Joycelyn and Amari. I just can't.
They're going to be amazing individual specialists going to this. Uh, but I don't know. I don't know. And I've just been so hyped on Missouri this whole year. It's just
And
Georgia kind of.
I know we want to talk about it later, but what if, was saying Oklahoma was training instead of, enjoying the selection show. What if Oklahoma bombs? No,
I wouldn't be upset.
you got to look at it. What if they, get there and they put Ava back on beam and they have some off nights, off other events in Ava Falls, Addison Falls, in Missouri and Georgia is just doing really well. You know, I see possibilities of those type of things happening. I do feel like if LSU or UCLA counts a low score, I think they can bounce back in their regional. I think this regional is easy, it's really cut and dry. I don't see Auburn, Nebraska, or Arizona scoring close to no 197. Georgia, Missouri, Oklahoma, I feel like are the only three that can really score 197 in this meet. And needs to say it's the easiest draw. I really do think it is. I would love Georgia, with the year that they had. And shout out to the other head coach too, because he doesn't get the praise either. But I think he's like the meat of the coaching staff.
I agree.
Cecile is the name, image, likeness, and all of that. But I think he's the one that got them gymnastically, more disciplined that I think they have been missing. Because he only came, what, last year?
And I think that's Georgia winning formula is having one female head coach to be the name, the face, the likeness of the program, and then to have a male coach in the background who's actually coaching
Technical.
gymnastics.
Yes. And you had the tech when Suzanne was there, you had Jay technicality for bars, you had Doug technicality for vaulting in the actual tumbling of floor, but then you had Suzanne, you know, what happened to Urza? I'm backstage, add me back, please.
Oh, my bad, friend.
um, you had Suzanne with the mentality part and how to compete and, getting those girls ready and disciplined and learning to deal with, it took time with her too. She won and then she lost a lot. UCLA became dominant. Once she got the right mix, girl, Georgia was on a tear. And I feel like if that lady had never retired, they probably would have kept on winning.
And can I just say that I feel like this is exactly what's wrong with OU and the sport right now is the fact that if anyone should get an really easy NCAA regional, it should be the number one seed and LSU. And even LSU, they have to do a little work in the regional they're in. Not too much work, but a little work to secure a spot to nationals. And I feel like OU, this is not good for them to be in such the easiest regional that I've seen in a while. Like, it's a really easy regional. I don't see Georgia and or Missouri making them sweat to the point in which I don't see, and this is not what they're going to need to go into a national against
Could you make
LSU,
it smaller, Michaela, so we can
Florida
keep the bridge
against.
going to make it to the final eight?
I don't see it. This is not what they need for nationals, in my opinion.
Because then we have who? If we have Michigan and LSU advancing against.
So we have Michigan, LSU advancing, and to Urza's point, what he was just saying, I'm just going to counter that point for a second to say, up until last week, the easiest regional was supposed to be LSU's regionals because they were number 2 and Oklahoma was in number 1. Um,
And LSU wanted to go out and win and shit, and
and,
boost
and put
themselves
themselves in a harder regional,
in
but
part of regional. You know,
not that much harder because even though it is a harder regional than the Oklahoma regional, I still think it's a pretty cut and dry regional for LSU over here. Their
But I feel like
hardest competition is
well,
probably
well, when
Michigan.
it, well, I see where Earth to make the Final Four shows how it's playing. LSU, if UCLA call some type of when it looked like on paper, OU is going to be OU in Florida. So as a whole, that right side of the bracket,
Shayna, baby, I don't know if it's me or if it's you, but like you were very choppy just now. I couldn't hear what you were saying.
I think that's Urza's background.
Urza,
Yeah, I don't hear it anymore.
yeah, it's definitely Urza. Okay, I'm so sorry.
When he got back in, we started hearing, but he said he was backstage, or was he mean backstage like on the
But he's
screen?
back. He just have to
that
keep
was
his
my
phone
fan.
on mute.
That was my fan, y'all. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I understand. It's starting to get hot now.
Yeah,
Yes.
but
I think.
I,
I
I,
think
I
from what we're seeing, I think the teams. It should be.
it should be a combination of LSU and UCLA or Utah. But like I say, if UCLA is mid 197 threes, I could see Utah or Michigan State beating them.
And it should be
LSU,
Florida. It should be Florida and Oklahoma and UCLA and LSU.
hmm
Those should be the final 14,
yeah.
just on
Shayna, do we
paper.
know exactly from which regionals which teams will compete against each other? Because I know
Yeah,
that we go
the,
we
the
that we
the the teams on the left. So every on those two brackets, those
Yes,
are the teams.
all of these teams. So it's going to be, by what we're saying, the teams that should compete against each other should be UCLA, Minnesota, Utah, and Stanford. And then it should be, y'all are saying Stanford, I'm saying Utah, whichever. It should be whichever one of these two teams and UCLA
hmm
playing in um, against each other to go. It should be UCLA, Utah, or Stanford, Oklahoma. Not, oh, I'm so sorry. LSU and Michigan State
Hmm.
Oh, that's
as the
gonna be
14.
a bloodbath.
Yeah, that side of the is
Okay,
bad.
yeah, we haven't talked about that. So okay, so let's take it all the way into national championships session 1, day 1.
Hmm.
It should be, by what we're saying, it should be Michigan, LSU. I mean, so sorry, Michigan State, LSU, UCLA,
In Utah.
Utah, or Stanford.
Hmm. Definitely
hmm
the hardest side compared to the Oklahoma side.
And I
And then
believe
on
this
the
will be the
Oklahoma
easy.
side,
And
on the
but
Oklahoma,
I think this is going to be, if I'm not mistaken, this will be the night session on day
Yes,
one
as it should be.
because number
and on
one,
the Oklahoma side, we're saying that it should be Missouri and Oklahoma, Florida,
And Missouri? No, Georgia. I'm
or
gonna say
no,
Georgia.
no, it should be Missouri, Oklahoma, Cal or Alabama, and Florida or Oregon State. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to go with Florida, Alabama, actually, Oklahoma, and Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it should be Oklahoma and Florida. It should be.
And that'll leave how many out of the 8 from the SEC?
That would be
One,
1, 2,
two.
3, 4, 5.
Well, are we going
5.
with California or Cal? Are we going with California or Alabama?
I'm gonna go with. If they in Alabama,
Yes.
I'm gonna go with Cal. I'm gonna go with Cal.
Okay, we're going with
I'm gonna
Cal.
go with Alabama. I'm gonna go with Alabama. Alabama been on a rise
I
lately.
I would hope that this was a wake up call for Cal to get their shit together, or they're gonna be sitting at home. I think this might be a wake up call with them losing that ACC because they was undefeated. They beat Stanford like 2 or 3 times this season, and then y'all get here and can't stand on y'all feet on floor. So that's another mentality thing. But I think they're gonna get it together. I kind of have a little trust in Liz and Justin. I like them.
So it should be Florida, Oklahoma, UCLA, and LSU.
Yes, that's
It
my
should
final
be
four.
that should be the final four. Now it's
Yeah.
going to be hard because
Mm-hmm.
it's either going to be LSU or Michigan State. It can't be both. It's either going to be UCLA or Stanford. It can't be both.
Mm-hmm.
It's either going to be Florida or Oregon State, California or Alabama. It can't be all four. And it's definitely going to be Missouri. You have an uphill battle against that Oklahoma team. I just don't see nobody up there fucking with Oklahoma. So yeah,
So we get to the final four. I mean the 8, and we didn't pick the 8. Who's in the final four and who's winning all the marbles?
I think the final four is going to be Florida, Oklahoma, UCLA, and LSU. And right now, my money's on LSU.
That's the finals. The people, well, the gym tonight. That's the final four that we want.
Yes, and it's no shade to Utah. I know y'all probably some nice people, and y'all probably work very hard. But I want to see UCLA in the finals, y'all. I want to. And if not UCLA, Michigan State.
It can't be Michigan State because they're got to go against LSU.
Yeah. And I can't never bet against LSU. I don't care. Even if I was in La La Land back in the day and knew that them people was not going to beat Oklahoma or
Hmm.
beat Trinity in Florida some of them years, I
Hmm.
just cannot bet against LSU this year. I just
So,
think they have all the cards to win another championship. I don't think Oklahoma is Oklahoman when it comes to championships. Yes, they're a pretty resilient program and consistent, but I just don't see them winning it all. If
Would
LSU
y'all
has
be
a bad day,
opposed?
if they have a bad day, LSU, I could see UCLA taking it all. I don't see Florida taking it all,
Would
but I
y'all be upset if Oklahoma did not make it to the top four and it was Missouri instead?
I would be elated because
I
that
mean,
boosts his
would be
that
nice,
boosts his UCLA chances.
yeah. But I would not. I don't see Missouri being national champions. I could see in a possibility or in another world or realm, I can see only 4 winners. UCLA, LSU, Florida, other than Oklahoma. Maybe Michigan State if everything went right. I don't see
I
that for
just don't
Missouri.
see it for Michigan State. I'm sorry. I don't think they collectively have. They don't have the bar lineup to put it together. They don't have the bar lineup at all to go 4 for 4. I
Out
feel
of
like
all of the
UCLA
teams
has.
you named, who would you will be most surprised at if they advance to the what do they call it, the top 8?
Hmm.
The
Who would
Elite
you
Eight
be most
is what I would call
surprised?
it.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I would be surprised if Georgia made it.
Well, I would be surprised. I agree. I would be surprised, but more happy if Georgia makes it, because it would be a Cinderella story, and I love a good Cinderella story.
My vote would be Michigan. Actually, if Michigan finds a way to make it through, I would be absolutely surprised.
Y'all don't think they gonna beat Arkansas, so
I really don't. I
I
would be
would rather see
absolutely
Michigan.
surprised.
I would rather see Oklahoma
I
win
I
another
I
national
picked
title
Michigan. I
than to
picked
see Michigan
Michigan.
in the Final Four or Elite Eight.
Now, I don't think they're
But
going to get that far, but
no, but the Final Four, yeah. I mean, the Elite Eight, that a lot of things would have to go right. You know, Michigan State demolished them, and UCLA. It was not close after that first round.
Minnesota demolished them. Like,
You know,
even Kentucky would be another team I would be surprised if they made it to the top 8. I wouldn't be upset. I would just be surprised.
and I'm a kind of. It's just unfortunate because Auburn was doing so well. They had got Marissa Neal back, but then they lost Caitlin, and it was just
Hmm.
like they whooped Alabama in Alabama, and I was like, okay, Auburn really coming. And then soon as that girl got hurt, it's just like, they got some good gymnastics over there, but they when your leader and Olivia go down, and then Caitlin, the best freshman, basically the best gymnast on the team, go down. That's hard to. Uh,
Yes, they lost. They literally
Nisha,
lost
I'm not,
their
I'm
two
not
best
gonna
teammates.
don't hate now, Nisha. I never was no Georgia fan. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But to know the history of college gymnastics and how dominant and great that program was, to where it became, to them basically sucking and being terrible in the bottom, to them like trying to climb back, it's a good
I
story.
love
I'm not gonna lie.
a Cinderella story. Us,
It's a
I
good
would love a
story.
Cinderella story. Yes,
And I like some of their gymnasts on that team. When you don't
yes, I
think
really.
about, oh, that's Georgia and that's Cecile, I like Lily Smith. I like Jeffrey Scott.
I
I like
I
those.
love Nyla Aquino.
Yeah, the little freshman Nyla. I love that
Did you see her
the
stuck soup
NFL
full?
coach's daughter is on there. I love Kara Aker. So they have pieces that I
Yes.
like on Georgia.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, so yeah, we're almost, you guys, can we believe it? We are almost at the end of NCAA gymnastics after this long, hard, tumultuous season.
I'm drained. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I am drained, and it's a
So let's,
combination of just life, and it be so much gymnastics at times. So I'm
I
glad I'm
know.
Hmm.
like, and then I'm trying to get into elite also. So it's really draining. Plus personal life, life be life and y'all. So it's draining to try to come home and catch up with Meeks, and I end up falling asleep on them. Um,
Yes.
Yeah, it's
I
hard, especially
still
like,
haven't watched the Big 12 championship. I was able to go back and watch Stanford win. I went back and watched the SEC like twice, but that's it. I didn't go back and watch UCLA win, and I didn't watch Utah win either because I just been so busy because I'm trying to move, working. and I'm still in school, so I'm kind of drained.
I completely feel you on that, sister. So let's conclude this NCAA regular season by everybody. What was your highlight of this season so far? Not so far because the season is over with. What was your highlight of this season this year? I will let you all go first while I find my lighter, which I don't know what the hell I just put it at. I'll be right back.
Um,
Oh, it's on the floor.
I have a couple things. My first one is, and it's kind of go hand in hand. We talk about injuries and so many of them that we've had this year, and we try to always think about negative things or sad things, but let's talk about overcoming. And I just want to give a shout out to Connor McClain and Sky Blakely for those girls to tear their Achilles less than a year ago to be competing on multiple events or training multiple events. That is a highlight for me. It don't have nothing to do with just their gymnastics itself because they both are beautiful gymnasts. We have went on and on about who's better, who would have made the Olympic team, who's more this, more that. But you have to give it to those young ladies to tear those Achilles, to go through those terrible times and elite, not making Olympic teams and world teams.
I will add on Dean or Champion to that list too.
The resiliency from those ladies, it make it all worth it. Like, I really love this sport, and you don't see behind the scenes of what goes on because we all have opinions. We all complain about this. We all have favorites, but Florida is not a favorite team of mine. But for that young lady to be here, she just tore her Achilles at Olympic trials, and she's competing bars every week and training beam. Connor may be doing floor, and that was less than a year ago. So kudos to those ladies on a program
Kudos to
on a program
Taylor
level.
DeStella, who was on the road back until she got another injury. Like,
hmm You know, Haley Bryan, one of them girls in Girl Nisha. I'm trying not to be heavy LSU. I
I
also
would
want
also say with that, what you're saying, I would give a great, even though she didn't have the best regionals, Kara Eker, what you've done,
to yes, yes.
exposing Utah gymnastics the way you did, and then everybody thought you was just gonna have to hang it up, and it was like, oh no, girl, I'm just gonna go to Georgia,
hmm
and then in your career at Georgia, it's like
And she looks very happy there.
I don't even think is this her senior year or her junior year?
It's her junior year. We get to see her one more year.
Yeah,
Yeah, because she had a COVID year, so she still has 2 years of eligibility, or she redshirted. I don't know which one she did, but she's considered a junior like Jordan. Um, and I'm happy, on an overall scale. Of course, I love my LSU, but I'm proud of UCLA and Stanford. Those are two old school Pac-12 teams that used to battle back in the day. Both of them are in new conferences, and they both won their championship. So that goes to
oh,
show.
that's a good one too. That's another highlight of the. I thought I knew that Oklahoma going to the SEC would really affect the SEC, but I didn't realize how much they gutted the Pac-12 and just basically eliminated that
They just
whole.
canceled the whole conference.
I didn't realize how deep they were going with that shit. So the
Yeah.
new conference alignment and how the gymnasts were able to handle that shenanigans this year. I want to give them shout outs to that. That was really good.
Them traveling
Especially,
other side of
all
the
that
country,
travel.
different side of the country.
Yeah.
I want to
All that
also,
travel.
as Shayna's saying that we don't give we always talk about the negative stuff so hard. We don't give enough highlights to the good things, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. So I wanted to give a highlight or a shout out to Samantha Paget, Ali Raceman, and John Roethlisberger. The three of you have really stepped it up this season with your commentating, with your level of information. I also enjoyed the adding of Trinity Thomas to the lineup. Bridget has been stepping it up. It's the guy who used to be the at 10 commentator. I think he now commentates for whatever Utah's in. Like you all have really
Olivia
been
Carrier.
definitely Olivia. Like you all have really been stepping.
To me, she was my favorite commentator this season.
You all have been
Mhm.
stepping it up for Kathy. Being dismissed early. Even Bart, like Bart, I will give it to you. Like your time is coming shortly, so you is really making spaces for all of these new people.
Yeah.
Like
Brid-
I
Bridget was good.
I really think the elite commentators should be Sam and Bridget. Sam, Bridget, and John Roethlisberger. That should be who NBC hires to take over for Tim Daggett and them people.
hmm Especially Sam. Sam and Olivia
She has
Carey.
stepped it up since the Olympics. She stepped it up a lot.
Sam and Olivia, those two knocked it out of the park. They very knowledgeable. Olivia carried those 3 sessions. She mama was basically by herself, was knowledgeable, knew everything about every program, wasn't
Yes.
boring, wasn't stepping over her words. Like I could see Allie was kind of saying stuff that kind of didn't make sense to me at one point. You know,
I will
Like
also give it
Alisa.
to John Roethlisberger again. Like you stepped it up with like giving facts, less opinions. Like when
Mhm.
somebody have a deduction, you would explain what the deduction is instead of just saying, "I don't feel like this deduction." Like you would do a better job of explaining why things were happening. Like you all are doing a way better job than you all have been doing. I really enjoyed that. Um,
Yeah, and then I mean, we being positive, but on the other note, these other ones that
I knew
y'all,
you was gonna do it, Shayna. I knew you was gonna do it.
these y'all other ones that don't know what the hell y'all talking about, go on get y'all some more training and try again next year.
All I'm gonna say is just even if you're commentating for a team that you really love, we as the audience shouldn't feel the bias through the TV screen.
Mm-hmm. We should
And
not.
that's
What do y'all did y'all see? I don't know. This kind of like off because we're talking about best moments. But did y'all see for the award ceremony for the ACC how they introduced every team member, the coaching staff, and the other staff?
Yes. 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 I did.
Do y'all like
I
that, or
didn't
you
see
think it
that.
should stay individual?
I don't mind them recognizing the coaching staff because at the end of the day, the coaching staff is still
It
a
wasn't
part of
just the
the team.
staff; it was several people. It was like the trainer. It was somebody else. It wasn't just Hallie and Tabitha and the male coach. It was
Yeah.
others. Like they recognized everybody. And I thought that was
The
like a
people
nice little
who
touch.
stay,
Directly
make sure that you to
involved in the program.
stay.
You
They
think
did
the
they
SEC
did
should have
their award
gotten Bart
and
Starner?
they already had their awards for the year too. So the ACC really did well, I thought, with that award ceremony. They named all their specialists and coaches of the year and took pictures with them. They felt you could tell they were appreciated.
I
What was
just
your
really
favorite?
wish.
What was your favorite, Urza? Favorite moment or moments? Because you didn't really give yours.
Well, realistically, I didn't like go in depth with the season as much as I wanted to have favorite moments, but like it's just the competitiveness this season, the fight, the gymnasts going out there every single day of the week as student athletes and fighting so hard, even though We don't seem to appreciate the gymnastics of most gymnasts. We are thankful that they compete. They give us something to watch. And so, yeah, just all that.
Mhm. And they're putting their bodies through all that, We appreciate y'all. A lot of bloggers and podcasts and these Twitter thugs and these Twitter people behind these pages and stuff always have shit to say, but we really do appreciate the time. The good coaches out there, the ones that are not, um, abusive, you know, and letting these student athletes thrive at these universities. We just appreciate y'all. We appreciate their parents and their family members and the people that support them because the world is kind of cruel.
I also want to give a highlight to the HBCUs. I know I give them a lot of crap because of how like strung together I feel like they are put together. But they have had some really good moments this year. They've gotten their first, well, Fisk University gotten their first 10 in school record. Um, they seem to be doing a lot better. They seem to be having higher start values than they were having. Um,
Who didn't one of them beat a Division 1 and 2 school? Was it Fisk or Wilberforce? Which one?
it probably was Fisk because I think they're way better than Wilberforce. But
They beat a Division 1 and the Division 2 team.
so congratulations, and then hopefully with your new leadership with Fisk University. Um,
I didn't know that was a small school like that. They only have like 1,000 people go there.
oh, Fisk is a tiny school.
That's a lot smaller than Denver, and they got a whole gymnastics team, y'all. I did not know
Fisk
that.
is a tiny school in Tennessee. Like it's so small, so small.
It's so small they don't even have a home arena. So shout out to them, for
They
them.
don't even have a training facility. They don't have a lot of stuff that major colleges have.
I hope that if anybody from Fisk watches this, anybody associated with that school, please, please put in what y'all need to make that a success.
You know who Fisk's biggest alumni is?
Who?
Bill Cosby. I think Bill Cosby went to Fisk.
Mm-hmm.
So Bill, oh, you got your other words. Don't worry about them girls. Bill, you got your own issues you need to handle. Don't worry about them girls. But if one of the Cosby families wanted to drop some coins and build them a gymnastics facility, that would
Yeah.
be cool. Maybe give the school right next to them, the University of Tennessee, which is another big ass school, gave them a gymnastics program. Maybe Fisk could train there sometimes because it's
Mm-hmm.
only like 10 minutes away from each other.
Yeah.
It's also shameful that a
Wow.
small school like Fisk took the time to build a gymnastics program, and Tennessee doesn't give what looks like a damn about gymnastics and focus on the
And,
football and the basketball and all that.
It's the
and
University
Texas,
of Tennessee. If what division would they be in? Would they be in the SEC or ACC?
Tennessee
It
is
would be in the
SEC.
SEC.
Tennessee would be SEC. Texas
Yeah,
would be SEC. Like,
yeah.
and
If
for
if
this
they had a
small,
team, because that's a huge ass. Like they could have. Like let me tell you, I'm gonna call them out. 5 schools that I want to get a women's gymnastics program. It's 2 schools in Florida. It's the University of
Yes.
Miami. There's no reason why y'all don't have a gymnastics
No.
program to help the ACC. And
Uh-huh. Florida
where I
State.
live at, Florida State. It makes no sense why y'all don't have a damn gymnastics team. Y'all have fucking every other sport other than gymnastics here. And y'all
mhm,
can absolutely build a damn gymnastics stadium. Hell, y'all can use one of these other damn stadiums that y'all have fucking everything in.
mhm.
Hell, a third school, FAMU. another HBCU. I'm working on that one though. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to talk to somebody about building a gymnastics program at FAMU.
University of Texas.
Tennessee. It makes no sense why they don't have a gymnastics program. If fucking Missouri and Kentucky does, why don't Tennessee? Texas. It's like 3 schools in
Texas,
Texas that should have a damn gymnastics program. And just
Texas, Texas Tech, Texas A&M,
Texas,
Texas,
which would
and
all
Texas A&M
be
schools.
yes.
and just by proximity of them being in Texas and the girls just wanted to live where they would automatically, all 3 schools would be like 3 top gymnastics schools quickly. It would take them like 2 years.
And then you
And
got
it's like
North
over
Carolina.
to the West Coast.
Why not add South Carolina?
Yes,
Come on,
South
Don
Carolina.
Staley. Come on, Don Staley. Get y'all a gymnastics team out there to help
You
promote
watch
those
women's
women.
sports. Women's sports.
Hell, what about isn't it a big school in Mississippi? And Mississippi don't have a gymnastics program.
It's Mississippi
State.
State.
They would be in SC2.
They got Mississippi State and Ole Miss. I don't know
Yes.
where they at, but they're popular in other sports. Like Ole Miss, Mississippi State, they have good uh um
Basketball teams.
decent football teams, but they have the best.
Let's keep calling them out because, like in California have a lot of big colleges.
USC.
And yes, they have
That's
3 big
right.
schools with 3 big gymnastics programs. LSU, Cal, which is Berkeley for people who don't know. Because in football or basketball, they would be called Berkeley. But for whatever reason, in gymnastics, it's Cal.
They call them Cal Berkeley.
Yeah.
Because they have like Cal Pony, Cal. It's different cows. But the big ones you're talking about would probably be we got UCLA, we got Stanford, we got
What's the other school in LA? Is it is UCLA? Then it's another school.
USC.
Southern
USC.
California. Southern California. No reason for them not to have a gymnastics program. None.
And to tell you the truth, if you got Michigan, when you go back on the other side of the equator, you got Michigan, but where's the University of Wisconsin? Because they always in sports, or Syracuse University.
Yeah,
Syracuse. Yeah.
Or one of these Princetons and Yales and
well, Yale does have a team. They just lower division.
You know, Notre Dame.
I think they have a team.
Indiana.
Wait, do they have a team?
Notre Dame does not have a team. So,
and I'm going to take it one step further. Hold on, before we continue to call out these teams who don't have a team, I'm going to take it one step further and take it back. There is no reason why some of these schools who have big schools, University of Florida, not Minnesota. What is it? Missouri, Georgia, Alabama. Why y'all don't have a men's program? Y'all could absolutely have a men's program too and save some of these male gymnasts from all these lower schools who don't have program. And then y'all could make it in like one night. Like you could do the women and do the men first and the women second. And just make it easy for us. Like Kentucky, even though
I'm not gonna lie, it says men's gymnastics is like it's not popular like the women.
It's not, but I think
it's long as hell with a lot of events. And
people so Addis was streaming a men's meet in between. I think it was like the World Cup and the beginning of something. So it was a men's meet on with Fred and Paul Judah and Michigan. And the thing that was really I'm like, Michigan, you have such a strong women's gymnastics team. You have such a strong men's gymnastics team. Why don't y'all just make them compete at the same time? So You won't have to make the two sports compete against each other. And then it hit me like UCLA, yeah, y'all used to have a men's gymnastics team. Why don't y'all just do a men's gymnastics team again? Like it's certain
LSU
programs,
used to have a men's gymnastics team.
huh?
LSU used to have a men's gymnastics team. Ashley Nasdaq
Really?
on that team. Yes. Every
And
a lot
some of
every
these programs, I
time
think
they
I
have
don't
the
think it
men.
will work for every program. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think every school can have a men's gymnastics team, but
Mm-mm.
I think some of these schools can. You can't do like
Like
100 teams. Maybe like you could add like 5 teams.
I'm sure an LSU men's gymnastics team would be very popular because
I
LSU is a
think
very
it
popular
would.
school. LSU is a very popular school when it comes to sport.
Because it's the camaraderie, y'all. What it is the machine behind it. The community has to support the school.
True.
Inside the school, you have to have the administrators and the shareholders and the board of directors. You have to have those people all on board. While people from around the country are jealous of LSU but want to be like LSU is because you can go to an LSU event, you can go to a goddamn fencing or judo competition, and they're gonna have
Thousand,
people in the stands because they support the school.
yes.
They might not know shit about the sport. I remember when gymnastics was only 1,500 people in the stands, y'all. This was in 1998. Look where it has come because
Yes,
they had people backing them up, and they had money. They revenue with money. Money is everything. Money, titles, power, the people. And do you know the governors and stuff? When LSU wins stuff, the governors are involved.
they throw
You
parades, all that.
They throw parades, they send out letters, they get bonuses for winning. You have to have the support from the resources for these programs to be successful. That's why Utah and Florida still look successful. Them two programs may not ever win again, but they're going to be successful because they still get people behind them. They get coaching staffs, board of directors, and athletic directors that give them what they need when they need it to keep people coming to the meets, to keep watching them, to keep supporting them. That's what a lot of these places miss. And I hope that FIS whoever ends up being their head coach. I don't know. Did Corinne leave the school completely because I knew she was in another position with the school, or did she just stop coaching the team?
I
Do you
think she
know?
left the school completely.
Well,
She
she
was
was the
the
one
athletic
started.
director. That means she was in charge of the entire sports, which is very questionable that you would leave when you're in charge of the sporting system, but the entire school, not just gymnastics, for football, for baseball, for basketball. So she's in charge of all that.
Oh, she was the athletic director of all of it. Oh, that sounds kind of fishy to me.
Oh,
Very
it was very.
from
I didn't know. I've been so busy. All I knew was that she left and wrote a
okay.
statement. But
I
I knew she was in another position with the university.
I was watching an addict scream, and I might get in trouble for saying this, but I think this is from like a year, and this is from a year ago. And after scream, he said he made a joke saying Korean, Tava right, stop laundering money. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but he said something to the degree, and but nothing about that has come out yet. But that would be a very interesting story.
Yeah. And what's
But
it like? Did she quit before an investigation was going to be had, or
That's
firing?
my understanding.
If that sucks, y'all, because I feel like as great as they had the opportunity to do well, and how that team has done this year, are they going to even keep the program up? You
It's
know,
hard because I feel like with this gymnastics, Me and Addis did a whole show about this, so I feel comfortable with saying this. Sometimes, as Black people, and we're all Black here, so it's a perfect time to have this conversation. We all know that sometimes as Black people, dealing with Black people can be the worst fucking decision you can do as a Black person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what happened with fist gymnastics. I think so many people, because so many people were so hyped that an HBCU was coming to NCAA gymnastics, that the very first team that was announced, a lot of people just jumped on it and started throwing money at them without realizing what was actually going on.
Yeah, it was like it was a good idea, but it wasn't thought out.
It
And
wasn't thought out. It's kind of like the Frederick Richards and his uniform thing. It's
mhm.
like, on the surface, if your intention is to create a leotard for the men, that for the little kids so they can feel more comfortable to join in gymnastics, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the idea was not thought out. So
Mhm.
then when you started to try to defend your idea or try to express why you created the purpose of your idea, it came off as a little bit phobic. Whatever phobic you want to put in there, it
Mm.
came off as a little bit phobic.
Like it was a good idea. It went viral for a minute. You might have got paid a little bit, and then it's like over with. And then you look at the comparison of okay, so now it makes sense of how Fisk was able to even have a gymnastics program because your athletic director is a gymnast.
Correct. And I feel like with FIST and a lot of these HBCUs that they put together, when they announced that they're gonna do it, well, it's not like that anymore. But it definitely was like that with FIST and a little bit with like that with Tau. Because what happened with Talladega is they raised so much money for their gymnastics program that the school was like, oh, um, yeah, we could spend this money on gymnastics, or we could spend this money on football. Nobody has ever told us we have to spend this money on gymnastics just
Mhm.
because these girls raised this money for this gymnastics. So we're gonna cut this program and then take this money and spend it on other shit.
Yeah.
So what I think with Fist, because they were the first, they raised a shit ton of money, especially behind the name of Karen, because she was, one of the, I think she was the first Black NCAA champion or something like that.
Yeah, she was.
So
She
I
came from
think
a story program. She had a name in the gymnastics world.
I
And
think they raised a
yeah.
bunch of money, and a lot of the girls was like, okay, they're raising money, they have scholarships, let's go here. And once they actually got there, they realized, wait, there's no gym.
Hmm.
Wait, where the hell are we training at?
Hmm.
Wait, what
That's what I
happened
was
to
telling.
all of this?
You remember when we was talking about this, Michaela, on one of the shows about the difference between the HBCU and a place like Clemson when you don't have the machine behind you or thought processes are not completely, thought out when it comes, okay, FIS. You raise a lot of money, yes, but you got to think about it. Your student population is only a little over 1,000 students, Michaela. 1,000 students. And 12 to 15 to 16 of them are gymnasts on your team. Y'all don't have a training facility, but y'all have a prime area in Nashville, Tennessee to get the community involved. But the community is not involved because most of the time communities are not involved at HBCUs.
And it's just something to that okay. So we have a small campus, this university. Clearly, we can't build a whole gymnastics training facility and gym because that was like would be like half the damn school.
Most of the school, girl. If you built a gym like LSU or Florida got, that's the whole school for 1,000 damn students. That's like less
So,
community college level.
but that's cool because there's lots of schools that don't have their own gym. They just have a gymnastics program near them that they go and train at. And it's just baffles me that Fisk never even thought that far ahead that the girls have to train.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think that's the issue that LIU is having with not having a gym on campus, and that those people have to drive 30, what they said, 25, 30 minutes away to practice. So that these people be having all the goals to start.
but see, but it was so deep with Fisk. Like they didn't even have a nutritionist for the girls. Like they didn't have a food. Like they didn't even give the gymnast food vouchers so they could eat. Like
Just
it was just crazy. It was just crazy. It
real,
was just, and
real,
it's one of those.
real ghetto, real put together.
It was, and it was just one of those things where like as the because I had a relationship with them at the time, I was trying to help them because it was so bad. Like one of the girls was like, "Oh my god, like I'm here. They make us train. We have to go to school, and like I can't afford to eat." Like and then when I was told my coaches I can't afford to eat, they came and brought me some damn ramen noodles. So now they want me to train and go to school and all of
on
this on
on
fucking ramen
on
noodles.
terrible nutrition for me to get injured and basically hurt myself.
So then when me and Addis would come on our show and talk about it, that's why, well, at least my personal relationship with Fisk University is in the shithole. But it's just like, as a black person, sometimes I felt like, especially with these HBCUs, they throw them out there and be like, well, we did it. Aren't y'all happy? We did it. They're black. They're doing gymnastics. And just like, no, that's just as racist. That's just as bigoted because now you gave them no structure. You gave them no. Every year they have to struggle to believe that they're going to still keep your scholarships. That half of them don't even have scholarships. They're just agreed to go here. Like it's just bad. It just and as bad as Fifth was set up, Talladega was set up worse. That's why they don't even have a school now because it was just nothing there to solidify that the program can even last. Like,
Yeah. And then look at Clemson. Sellout crowds,
and that's my thing. Like I saw how because
families.
Clemson and Fisk they announced the schools at the same time. Clemson decided to take a year to build their program. Fisk decided to compete the next season. I understand that Fisk is not Clemson, so Fisk cannot do what Clemson does because they just don't have the money, the power, the name, anything. But it just was so like Clemson really, even though right now we don't like their gymnastics program, but they set themselves up for the long term. They set themselves up to have a gymnastics program for 10, 20 years in the future. Fifth,
Mm-hmm.
they just set themselves up to say we are the first HBCU with the gymnastics team. And the crazy part is we do have some HBCUs like FAMU. They're a Division I gymnastics team. Like if they had a gymnastics team, they could go to the NCAA championships. I don't understand why some of these bigger HBCUs won't accept gymnastics programs. Why I always have to be the small schools.
What about like Alabama State? They just made it to the NCAA. I mean, they lost in the first round, but there's HBCUs that make it. You know.
Absolutely. Ah,
Well, it's been a long season. Um, I guess we're gonna have a show after the championship, or we're gonna have one before during
yes,
regionals.
and I'm so happy to announce. Oh, this brings me so much joy that we can finally go back to our regular schedule of Saturdays. Oh, this makes me so happy. I don't know. Yeah, we're gonna go back to our regular schedule on Saturdays and do shows on Saturdays. And um, what else? I think this weekend there is some elite gymnastics going on. I just don't know what. I have to. I'll come back and let y'all know because I don't really want to lie to the people and be like, it's some elite gymnastics going on, and it could be like in 2 weeks from now. Um, I know this weekend though, everybody gets a gymnastics break, at least college gymnastics break, because there is absolutely no college gymnastics going on this weekend. It won't crank back up until next weekend. But if you want something Olympic type sports to watch, we will have the figure skating world championships that happens this weekend. Do y'all know how I know this? Because our co-host Oscar is going to the figure skating world championship. That's the only reason I know that this is happening this weekend. Um, what else is going on? Yeah, while we here, I just want to give a big congratulations to Claire Pease and Jayla
Mm-hmm.
Hang at their amazing debut at this World Cup.
That was a
They both
beautiful
did,
floor routine from Claire.
they both did
Yes,
really good. Claire
they
won a
dominated.
medal on every event, I think, and
Yes,
one floor and one beam.
she won BM and came second on the other three events. She lost to the Japanese woman on floor, but the Japanese lady floor was great. So it
Absolutely.
was a yeah.
What
I
what
think
what
Claire stepped
competition
out of
was
bounds
that?
on her double pipe.
The Antalya
What
World
was the
Cup.
competition? Is it on anybody's stream to watch? Or I have to go back to watch
At
X?
I have a
but
link for it. I just have to find it again, but I do have a channel that has it. Well, they had it
Okay.
up yesterday, so I don't know if YouTube done did a big one and took it down, but I have to find it. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Also from this competition, congratulations to the two. One is a Japanese and one is a Chinese lady who got their skills named after them. So sorry, Sunisa. I know you wanted that to be the Lee, but it's not called the Lee. It's called the Yang, which is a layout front with a full twist. But the FIG only gave it a G rating, but they provisionally gave Suni a H rating. So maybe it would have been better if Suni got it named because they would have gave it more of a rating if it was Suni than the other girl, which is weird. And then we have a Japanese gymnast who have her original skill, which is a flyaway half with into a back pike. I think they gave that a D rating, and it's a cool skill. Um, I still haven't found any leads to British Championships, but that's the next meet that I need to watch because I want to see what Jessica Galarova did. Now I saw a bar routine from her. She only did a double tuck dismount. Um, so yeah, the next big meet for elite is going to be the DTB Polka Championship thing. Um, so yeah,
Which will they will be represented by Simone Rose Ashley Sullivan and Nola Matthews, if I'm correct. But I will double
I
check.
believe.
Did you say Nola Matthews?
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
got an international assignment.
they
Uh-huh.
usually send her to the Poker World Cup like every year from
Seriously
2020.
though, is she gonna place in any of the competitions she's getting in?
Well, they're doing the
It's a
mix. Well,
team
they're doing like
competition, so
yeah, they're
her
doing the
floor
mix.
score might help.
She's just a really confusing gymnast to me personally, because in my opinion, her event is bars, but she's seen as a floor worker. But she is a UCLA girly, so my favoritism goes to her. But yeah,
I think with Nola is, and I don't mean this as a read. It's just my opinion. Her gymnastics has a certain peak to it that I don't feel like. I feel like when she gets to the NCAA, we're going to see the best of her gymnastics. I don't feel like her gymnastics plays well with difficulty. Oh no, Shayna. Girl, don't worry. We're about to end the show shortly. So, you guys, this was a
okay.
fun show. Lots of information. Again, this week, take your gymnastics break. Focus on figure skating. Learn something
Watch.
else because the next 2 weeks are going to be jam packed with nothing but
Yeah,
gymnastics. Nothing but gymnastics. So take this break. Go watch Wicked. Go watch Black Panther 2. Be like me and watch Legally Blonde because I realized I never saw Legally Blonde. So it's my goal to watch it and enjoy gymnastics. I love each and every one of you all. We will be back for more shows. I have more inspiration now. So yeah.
bye everyone. Bye
Bye
Nisha.
everyone. Bye
Bye
Nisha. See
Nisha.
you, Shayna. Thank you, RJ. Bye chat. Everybody, let's pray for Oscar that he has a fun and safe trip in
And safe travel. Yeah.
let's hope he doesn't get banned from USA figure skating too, because he already banned from USA gymnastics. Mama can't be banned for everything.
Not the sports for the gays. Not every sport for the.
I love you all. Bye everybody.
Bye.